Good day, teacher! My name is MYRA B, Layugan, and this is my teaching demo for technology for teaching and learning too. Good morning, grade 7! How are you today, class? You're doing fine? You're feeling great? It's good to hear that all from you, and I hope that you still have the same energy as we go on in our discussion for today. Before we proceed, class, is there anyone who can give a summary in our discussion last time? Yes, Marco? Very good. Our topic last time is all about nouns and verbs, in which we define nouns as names of places, person, animal, things, and events, while verbs are words that shows an action. Yesterday, we also defined what is a singular and a plural noun as well as the singular and plural verb. Before we proceed in our discussion, let's have an activity first. In this activity, you have to classify if the presented image portrays a noun or a pronoun, then construct a sentence using the verbs and nouns related to the presented image. Since this is a group activity, I suggest that you will retain your group yesterday. This is for group 1, this is for group 2, and this is for group 3. Assume that one representative of each group already presented your output. Based from our activity, class, what do you think is our topic for today? Yes, Angelica? Constructing a sentence. Subject and verb. Yes, Marco? Very good. Our topic for today is all about Subject-Verb Agreement. So what is Subject-Verb Agreement? In Subject-Verb Agreement, the subject and the verb must agree with one another in number. To further our discussion, let's discuss the rules of Subject-Verb Agreement. Rule number 1 states that when the subject is singular, the verb must be singular too. In our example, she writes every day. Our subject is she, while our verb is writes. The subject is in the singular form and the verb is also in the singular form. Class, remember that in verbs, unlike in nouns, verbs in the singular form usually ends with S. The second rule says, if the subject is plural, the verb must be plural too. In our example, they write every day. Since they is a plural pronoun, it takes the plural form of verb, which is write. Rule number 3 says, when the subject in the sentence is composed of 2 or more nouns connected by and, use the plural form of the verb. In our example, the doctoral student and the committee members write every day. The 2 nouns connected by and in the sentence are doctoral student and committee members. Since our subject is plural, it takes the plural form of the verb, which is write. Rule number 4 says that when there is one subject and more than one verb, the verbs throughout the sentence must agree with the subject. In our example, interviews are one way to collect data and allow researchers to gain an in-depth understanding of participants. In our example, we only have one subject, which is interviews. It is in the plural form, and 2 verbs, which are and allow. Since the subject is in the plural form, the verbs too must be in the plural form. Rule number 5 states that when a phrase comes between the subject and the verb, remember that the verb must still agree with the subject, not with the noun or the pronoun in the phrase following the subject. In the example, the student as well as the committee members is excited. The phrase as well as the committee members is an example of a phrase that comes between the subject and the verb. It was also called as intervening phrase. In our sentence, our subject here is a student, while our verb is. Since the subject is singular, it also takes the singular form of the verb. Rule number 6 states that When two or more nouns or pronouns are connected by or, use the singular verb. In our example, the chairperson or the CEO approves the proposal before proceeding. The two nouns in our example are chairperson and CEO. Since both nouns are in the singular form, and it was connected by or, it also takes the singular form of the verb, which is approves. Rule number 7 states that when a compound subject is composed of both a singular and a plural noun or pronoun, remember that the verb must still agree with the part of the subject that is closest to the verb. This is also called the rule of proximity. In our first example, the student or the committee members write every day. We have two subjects in this sentence, which are the student and the committee members. It was joined by the conjunction or. The verb in this sentence is write. It is in the plural form because it was closer to the subject committee members, which was also in the plural form. Rule number 8 states that the words and phrases each one, neither, either, everybody, everyone, anybody, anyone, somebody, someone, no one, and nobody are singular and requires a singular verb. Let's take a look in our examples. Kindly read. Thank you. If you can observe, all the verbs used in the three sentences are in the singular form. Rule number 9 states that non-count nouns take a singular verb. Non-count nouns identifies an object that cannot separate or counted individually. Some examples of non-count nouns are education, diabetes, and information. Class, kindly read the examples. Thank you. As you can observe, class, all of the verbs used in the three sentences are in the singular form. Rule number 10 states that some countable nouns in English, such as earnings, goods, ads, and others, have a plural form and only takes a plural verb. For example, kindly read the examples. Thank you. In our first example, the subject is earnings. It is in the plural form. That's why it takes the plural form of the verb, which is exit. And the second example, goods is in the plural form, is the subject. That's why the verb is also in the plural form, which is the word have. 11 states that in sentences beginning with there is or there are, the subject follows the verb. Since the subject is not there is, the verb agrees with what follows the verb. Example number 1, there is little administrative support. Our subject here is administrative support, while our verb is. Both are in the singular form. And example number 2, there are many factors affecting teacher retention. Our subject here is factors, and our verb is are. Both are in the plural form. Rule number 12 states that collective nouns are words that imply more than one person but are considered singular and take the singular verb. Some examples are group, team, committee, class, and family. Class, kindly read our examples. Thank you. The words in our example are group and committee. Those are considered singular, that's why it takes the singular form of the verbs, which are meets and agrees. After our discussion, I hope everyone are now ready for our activity, and I assure you that this one is exciting because we'll be playing in the Kahoot app.
Kahoot is an interactive game-based, web-based learning platform that can be accessed on any device, and it was used in schools, work, or home environment. To access the game, a link will be forwarded on the class group chat. The students will join using their real names. If everyone are now done with the procedure, then everyone is ready to play the game. The title of the activity is Subject and Verb, We Work Together and Agree. It was composed of 20 items which aims to check the students' understanding on the different subject-verb agreement rules. The game has different features, but this time, the students will play the Test Yourself segment. In this segment, students will be given a minimum of 30 seconds to answer each item. If their answer is correct, they will hear the sound. If the student's answer is wrong, they can hear the sound. Transparency is an advantage feature of the activity because the teacher can monitor the student with the highest score or the highest rank, just like in other non-educational games. If the students want to review their answers, they can click flashcards. This feature of the app enables students to review the correct answer each item. Another feature is practice. This feature enables students to answer the questions with no time limit. But for the class activity, students are tasked to play in the Test Yourself segment to make the game more engaging and challenging. The visual and sound effects can indeed create a more engaging and fun learning to the students compared to the traditional pencil and paper activities. Assume that the students are already done with the activity.
Class, what do you think is the importance of learning the subject-verb agreement rules? Yes, Nikolai? Very good. It is important for you to learn the subject-verb agreement rules because it serves as your foundation and it equips you to become a good communicator both in the oral and written form. To check if you are now ready to become a good communicator in the written form, let's have an activity. This activity is entitled 5 Sentences, 5 Rules. In a 1/2 sheet of paper, write a paragraph composed of 5 sentences and at least use 5 rules in subject-verb agreement in the composition of your paragraph. Assume that the students are already done in their activity and 3 students from the group read their answers. The title of your activity for your assignment is Knowing the Rules, the Key to Become a Good Communicator. This is a by-pair activity. Choose your pair. Each pair must submit a recorded dialogue in which the rules of subject-verb agreement are used. The recorded dialogue must be at least 3 to 5 minutes. Do you have any questions, class? None? Then that's all for today. Goodbye, class. God bless, spread love and positivity.